I said, well, are they going to lose a percentage of their pay because they didn't do their job? He said, no, all I want them to do is turn it in. I said, oh, but when we give homework, we give kids zeros. And at the end of the grading period, mathematically, we know what a zero does. You're done. You're done. Can I turn that, Mr. McDermott, can I turn that in like next week? Sure you can, for half credit. Mr. McDermott, you think I'm an idiot? That's still an F, so why would I do it? Well, at least you get something. And the teachers looked at me and I said, so for the kids, these precious kids we're taking care of, they get zeros that get averaged in, but you get your full pay at the end of the month. Well, there was a little musing and discussion there, wasn't there? What's the real world like? Had a discussion before the session with Joshua. It is Joshua, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. And we talked about, in his job, in his experience, how bosses will give an employee another chance. Just make it up. Just get it done. That's what matters. Fix the problem. That's how assessment should work. Fix it. Get it done. Learn from your mistakes. It's okay. Nice comments about, here's what you did well. Here's where you need to improve. Not, 10 out of 100 here, we're moving on. I know all the things in secondary teachers that mix up in their minds. I've been working with secondary teachers for 30 years. Easy for you to say, McDermott, but I've got a grading period. We can deal with all that. Checking in and checking in. Another one of our C's is celebration. And I'm talking about concrete celebration. Not what I got for my first 7 years of teaching, which did me no good and I wasn't good. You know what I got from my principals? Because I was loud like I am now, and because I could put on a good show, my principals would say, good job, excellent teaching. That feedback was meaningless because I thought I was good. I wasn't good. Then I had a principal my 7th year, best thing that ever happened. 1980, I still remember this. I'm teaching away, doing exactly what I'm doing now. And the kids are doing exactly what you're doing now. And he's sitting in the back of the room, there's not a smile on his face. I'm like, how can you not be smiling? I'm good. So the kids leave, he's still sitting back there without a smile. And I come back and say, Mr. Williams, how was that? He goes, you're a great entertainer. I said, well, thanks. I thought that was a compliment. I said, good. He said, no, it's not good. He said, you don't have a clue if your kids learn a thing. And that's what I did. He said, I'm going to teach you how to teach. And you know what you're doing now. Now, I wouldn't give feedback like that to a kid. I could handle that. But he gave me meaningful feedback saying, you don't have a clue if those kids learn anything. How do you know you're doing all the talking? Oh. So instead of meaningful feedback, celebrate specifically, and every single kid in your room has to be celebrated in a unit of learning. We'll see how Brenna did it. I love what Brenna did. Every single kid. You don't have a clue if those kids learn anything. How do you know you're doing all the talking? Oh. So instead of meaningful feedback, celebrate specifically, and every single kid in your room has to be celebrated in a unit of learning. We'll see how Brenna did it. I love what Brenna did. Every single kid. So we know that Juan over here is really good at math, and he's always going to get a paper up in these, thank you, in this area of, outstanding papers, whatever. But what about Judy over here? How do you celebrate her? Judy's not strong in math. So what's she strong in? Find out. Don't say good job today. Say, wow. For the first time this year, you wrote that equation exactly in the first line the way it should be. That is excellent. Cool. Boy, I'm old time, aren't I? Using that. Anyway, call home. Mrs. Hernandez, Judy did the first line of her equation right on target. Well, did she do everything else right? Oh, we're not talking about that right now. She did the first line great. That's all this call's about. Not calling for any other reason, but to celebrate this clip. How do you think Judy comes to class the next day? I've seen it. You called my home last night. Yeah. What's that about? Then another kid says, you called her home, you're going to call my home? Maybe. We'll see what you do well. You start to build this culture of specific celebration, not just pat on the back, good job. And the last C, and these aren't really in any specific order, is again tied in with the presentation this morning, collaboration. But that collaboration has to be done well. Not the way I used to do it when I started teaching. Okay, you kids get in a group. Do this. If my teachers did that at the urban high school I teach at, we'd be having long talks. Collaboration has to be careful. And I tell them, what's your name again?
Damon Arnold.
Damon?
Damon Arnold.
Damon Arnold. Here's what I tell them. Don't you ever put a group together for meaningful. Don't you ever allow students to choose their own groups for meaningful collaboration. The kind of thing we did earlier, fine. Not when you're putting together a group for meaningful, challenging collaboration. That's step one. Don't you ever let them choose their own, because I know it's going to happen. This kid's going to be left out, and that girl is always left out. I don't want her in my group. She missed school all the time. I'm not going to get into the details of forming groups, but they have to be formed in advance. They have to have norms. They have to have specific roles. It has to be an activity that's worth the group. Walked in on a math teacher a couple of weeks ago. I was going in, and he asked me to come in and observe and tell him what I thought. He had the kids in groups. They were all doing a worksheet in groups. One worksheet in groups. You know what I saw? Nobody talking to each other. Why not? They didn't need a group to do that worksheet. I don't need you. I'll do it myself. Matter of fact, I don't even trust you. I want to get it wrong. It wasn't challenging enough for group work. What you're going to do next is challenging enough for group work. So there's an overview of our 6 C's, and I'll show you this animoto when I get back. You don't want to waste your time there after lunch. But here's what I want you to do. Suppose that you all have a booklet, right? With handouts for this conference.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That's what I was told. Everybody had one. Well, we're gonna have to figure this out. We'll share. What I need you to do right now is move to that group of 6. Just choose an area, pick up your stuff, and all get around the same table before we go to lunch.